Marhaba, assalamu alaikum. So in this video, we're going to take notes about short vowels. This is a really, really important topic in Arabic 1 as we're starting to learn to write more sounds in Arabic so that we can write more words. Okay, so short vowels is a really important topic, so please make sure you do your best to take really good notes here. And any questions that you have as I go through these notes, please write them down for yourself so you can ask me during our next class. Okay, so our objective by the end of this video is to be able to recognize, read, write, and say the names and shapes and sounds of the 3 short vowels in Arabic. Okay, so you're going to need a page of your letters notebook for these notes, but I will tell you when to start writing down notes. You don't need to start writing yet. So the first thing I want to do is just a quick preview. So just listen to this part. So in addition to the 3 long vowels in Arabic, there are 3 short vowels. And these short vowels are not letters and they're not part of the alphabet in Arabic. They're little symbols that are written above or below the letters. A lot of students think that they look like accent marks, but they're not the same as accent marks in other languages. So because the short vowels are not part of the alphabet, a lot of the time, the short vowels are not written on the words in Arabic. This makes it hard for you when you're first learning Arabic, but you get used to it over time and with practice. However, in Arabic 1, we're always going to use short vowels because it's important to get used to them. So I will always write them for you on words, and you should always write them on your words. Later on, when we get to Arabic 2, I start making it optional for you to write short vowels, and I stop always writing them for you. So just a quick example here. If you look down here, you can see where it says, for example, you can probably recognize these English words without their vowels. So this is just an example of how a native Arabic speaker who's familiar with vocabulary in Arabic would be able to read without the short vowels, right? So we can tell, like if you look at these words, you can tell that the first one on the left is homework, the second one is tomorrow, third one is school, next one is math, and next one is writing, right? So it's similar in Arabic, except it's even more clear just because people are very used to being without the short vowels. But there are some texts where Arabs do always write the short vowels on words, such as in the Quran, which is the holy book of the religion of Islam, the Bible, the holy book of the religion of Christianity, some textbooks and some children's books, because children are learning to read with those books too. So when people are learning to read, they use the short vowels just like we will in Arabic 1. Okay, so think of the vowels as quote-unquote jewelry or accessories that these words use sometimes, especially in more formal Arabic, but not all the time necessarily. For now, though, in Arabic 1, like I said, we're always going to use short vowels. Okay, so now we're going to start writing notes. So make sure you have your letters notebook page all set up. You can put whatever page number we're on now. I know some of us are on different pages, which is fine. Okay, so put whatever page number you're at, put today's date, and then this title, Short Vowels in Arabic. Okay, so you're going to start writing notes. Everything that's blue and everything that I hand write on my screen is what you need to include in your notes. Okay, the things that are gray, you have the option to include or not include. Okay, so our title here says short vowels in Arabic. Okay, so then we have, there are 3 long vowels in Arabic. So this is review. There are 3 long vowels in Arabic. The 3 long vowels, I'm going to attempt to write here. We'll see how it goes. The 3 long vowels are, see if you can remember them. The first one we learned was alif. Okay, alif. The second one we learned was ya, this one. And the third one we learned was wow, okay? And as a reminder, these are long vowels and their sounds are quite long, right? Alif makes the sound ah, ya makes the sound e, and a wow makes the sound ooh. Okay, and these are letters, right? These are letters in Arabic. However, there are also 3 short vowels, right? And the short vowels are not letters, okay? So the short vowels are written as symbols, little symbols above and below the letters, okay? And like I said, in Arabic 1, we're always going to write the short vowels in a word. For now, we always write the short vowels, okay? Tamam. So pause the video as you need to if you need more time to write throughout this video, okay? Okay, a couple of important notes here, okay? 1, short vowels always need to sit on a letter as their seat, quote unquote, their chair to sit in. Okay, short vowels cannot just float in the air above or below nothing, like a space. Okay, they need to sit on a letter always, always. Okay, and then the other important thing is this: we read the short vowels sound after the sound of the letter it sits on. And when I go over some examples, that will probably make more sense. Okay, just write that down for now. We read the sound of the short vowel after the sound of the letter it sits on. Okay, again, pause as needed. I'm going to keep going. Okay, our first short vowel. I'm going to attempt to write this in Arabic letters for you to copy the name of it in Arabic letters like we usually do. Do your best. It has only letters that we don't know yet. Okay, the name of the short vowel is fatha. Fatha. Everybody practice saying that. Fatha. Okay, fatha. And if I write that name in Arabic letters, again, you can do your best to write this too if you're able. Okay, give it a try. This only, oh, it does have a ta. It has 1 letter we know in it. Okay, fatha. Okay, the shape of this letter. So what I do when I'm writing short vowels is I write a line to indicate the letter that it's sitting on. So this long line is the letter. Okay, imagine it's any letter. And a fatha is a short little diagonal line that floats above the letter. So you can actually see one here in the word fatha, right? One on a letter ba, for example, would look like, here's a ba, right? And here's a fatha on top of it. Okay, so it's a little diagonal line, like a little dash diagonally. Okay, the sound of this letter. You need to write both of these, okay? So sound and then usually like and sometimes like. Okay, so usually fatha's sound is like eh in vet, for example. Okay, in vet, usually. Attempting to make quotation marks. Okay, there you go. And sometimes it sounds like in or in up. Okay, so usually it sounds like nice and short, right? Okay, occasionally it sounds like and we'll talk about why later on. Okay, so, okay, just to review, fatha looks like this, a little dash above the line, and it sounds almost always like well, not almost always, often it sounds like and sometimes it sounds like okay? So if we were to pronounce fatha on a ba, we would say the sound of ba first, like we talked about, and then the sound of fatha. So bu, be is what this sounds like together. Okay, I need to, sorry, I made myself disappear. Erase this. Okay, almost there. Okay, Montez, and then we're gonna go to the next one here. Okay, so this slide you don't need to write down, it's just to look at, but I do want you to write this word, this example word. Okay, so like we were just talking about, we read the letter, the sound of the short vowel after the sound of the letter it sits on. So that's why we said b first and then in my example just now. Okay, so I want you to write this word, okay? Copy it down right to left, right? The correct way to write it, and draw the arrows that are here that show you how to write it. So like this, and up. Okay, hopefully you can see that. I'm not sure if it's recording my mouse pointer, but I'm trying to write the lines. It's just hard because it's blue. Okay, so maybe I should change colors here. Okay, so if I do that, then you want to go like this. All right, well, that's not really working, but you get the idea. Write the word, okay, put the dots and the short vowel in, okay, and then write the arrows. So if we sound this word out, it sounds like b, e, f. Okay, so together, Beth. Okay, b, e, f, or Beth. Okay, so make sure you wrote down that example word. You don't have to write down the rest of what's here. Okay. Okay, we have 2 more short vowels to learn. We're going to follow the same pattern. So the second short vowel, it's called kasra. Okay, everybody practice pronouncing that. Why is this not? Sorry. Okay, everybody practice pronouncing the sound of kasra. I don't know why it won't let me change my color. I really want to change the color of the pen. There we go. Okay, tamam. Sorry about that. Okay, so the second short vowel is called kasra. Kasra. Okay, and if we write it in Arabic letters, this also has a lot of, actually this one only has letters we don't know yet, so you can do your best to write it. Okay, kasra is the Arabic name for this letter. Okay, and the shape of this letter is the same as fatha, except it goes below the line instead of above. So if this is our letter that it's sitting on, it's a little diagonal dash, but without that little tail, just this. Okay, I'm going to try it again. Here's the letter it's sitting on, just that, yeah. Okay, it sits below the letter. So if we were to put it on a ba, here's our ba, and the kasra goes below. And now sound that out. We hear the ba first and then the kasra, right? But we don't know its sound yet. So 1 second. So usually the kasra sounds like I. Okay, nice and short. It's a short vowel, I, as in bit. Okay. Okay, bit. I. Occasionally, if it's on a letter at the end of a word, it'll sound more like a ya. It can sound like the E sound in beat. Okay, this is only if it's at the end, if it's on the last letter. Okay, it can sound like E if it's on the last letter in the word. Okay, so now if we did it like this, a kasra on a ba would sound like b, I, b. Okay, so we're going to write an example word again. So get ready to just write one word on the next slide here that has arrows like you did for fatha. Okay. Tamam, so here's the example word. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. Write your ba, write your tha in its end form, and then put a kasra below it like you see here, and include the arrows here. Okay, so if we sound this out, it's b, I, right? We hear the sound of the kasra after the letter it sits on. So b, I, b, and then f. So if we put it together, bith. Okay, bith. Tamam? Okay, last but not least, our third and final short vowel is called dhamma. Practice saying that, dhamma, dhamma. Okay, dhamma, if you write it in Arabic letters, looks like this. Okay, the shape of dhamma sits above the letter like fatha does, like the first one we learned. But, so if this is a letter that it's sitting on, but it's a little loop, it's actually like a mini wow. Okay, So I'm going to do it again. It's a little loop. Okay, some people give it a little tail on the other side. You can. Okay, I usually don't. So if this were sitting on a ba, here's a ba, it would look like this. Okay? B. Oh, I just gave away the sound, so that's okay. So the sound of dhamma usually is like as in put, Okay, you have to be careful because not all you sounds different in English in different words. So the sound like the you in put. Okay, not right? Okay, so dhamma makes the sound Sometimes, just like kasra, sometimes it sounds like as in boot, and that's if it's on the last letter. Okay, so if on last letter. Okay, so usually you want to memorize the sound of this as and just know that occasionally it might sound more like if it's on the last letter of the word. Okay. Tamam. So dhamma, the little loop, sounds like Okay. So that's our last one. I just want to show you the example word for this. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting a little lazy about erasing because I don't want to waste your time on that. Okay, and then, oh dear, an example word here. Okay, so copy this word again and do the arrows. And if we sound it out, we hear the sound of ba first, then the sound of dhamma, then the sound of tha. So put it together, b, u, th, buth. Okay? Okay, so pause if you need to keep writing. And then when you're ready, you can put your pencil or pen down. We're going to do a read aloud practice. So what I want you to do when you're ready is pause this video and try reading each of these words out loud. Okay, I really, really want you to actually pause and read them out loud. Okay, then play the video again and I'll go over the answers, how each one sounds. Okay, remember the rule that we hear the sound of the short vowel after the letter it sits on. Okay, that's really important. Okay, so pause now. Okay, I hope you actually really paused it and read out loud. Remember, we have to practice reading out loud. It's really, really important. Okay, so let's see if I can turn on my spotlight mouse here. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so the first word, Beth. Nope, sorry, that's a ta. Bet. Okay, bet. Second word, tebteet. Tebteet. Okay, we start on the right. We hear the ta first, then the fatha, right? Tebteet. Third word, betat. Listen to the difference between the length of the fatha versus the length of the alif, right? Betat. Okay, that's really important. The short vowels are much shorter sounding and the long vowels are much longer sounding. Okay, so betat. Fourth word was tebeb. Tebeb. And the last one is tabet. Tabet. Okay? Tamam. Okay, let's do the next set. These ones have kesras instead. So remember what kesra sounds like. Pause now. Okay, I hope that you paused and now you're ready to go over the answers. So the first one is b, it, bit. Second one, t, b, tib. Third one, oops, batit. Okay, batit. So notice that how I'm emphasizing the length of alif versus the shortness of kesra. You need to differentiate between the lengths, okay? Batit and thabit. Okay, thabit. Okay, tamam. And last but not least, one more set. We're going to do the same thing. Okay, pause now. Tamam. Okay, I hope you paused and tried, and here are the answers. The first one has no short vowel in it, right? So this is just long. It's a wow. So we hear toot. Sorry, this got cut off a little bit on the bottom there. That's a regular wow. Okay, toot. Second word, now we have a dhamma instead. So t, u, t, tut. Okay. Third one, tub. Fourth one, tubtu. Okay, tubtu. So hear how that dhamma sounds a little more like u than u. That's because it's the very last sound in the word. So tubtu. Okay? All right, خلاص. تمام. So next steps, make sure you submit a photo of your notes from the short vowels video in Google Classroom. And then if any questions came up, things you want to review, I hope you have some questions for me next class. Okay, so write them down so you don't forget. Okay, خلاص. شكرا.